Huge game for his Eagles, who at 5-6 need a win to stay in the hunt. They have done it before, though. They've come back from a 5-6 record to make the playoffs, rattled off 5 straight wins to close things out in 2006. If they're going to do that this year, they're going to need to fix a few things. Mike Garafolo, where do they need to start tonight against the Redskins?
The Eagles have to run the football, and they plan to run the football. Josh Adams, the rookie running back, who's been there every down back really lately. He will play tonight. He was listed as questionable with a hip injury, popped up on the injury report. Just did his pregame workout, got fist bumps from general manager Howie Roseman and head coach Doug Peterson. He should be good to go. Darren Sproles also coming back, though they're going to ease him in. They won't try and feature him nearly as much as they did in the opener. They want to see if he can survive this week and continue forward, then maybe start to feed him a little bit more as they get into the stretch run. And this is a Redskins defense that was really stout against the run early in the season. 5 of the first 7 games held their opponent under 100 yards rushing, but 4 straight games now, the opponents have cracked the century mark, including 146 by the Cowboys last week. I am told those big guys up front, Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, they've leaned on them a lot, starting to wear down a little bit. So look for the Redskins to rotate their defensive line, hopefully help their run defense. One other thing to mention here, the My Cause, My Cleats initiative continues tonight here at the link. And the Eagles players will be joined by their staff members, their cheerleaders, coaches, and ownership will be wearing My Cause, My Cleats sneakers in the form of the Eagles Autism Challenge sneakers. This year, the inaugural challenge raised $2.5 million. They already have one set for next year at May 18th, 2019, set up for the second annual, Eagles Autism Challenge.
When you take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC, it looks like this. Probably the cream is at the top there with 3 teams. The Rams, Saints, and Bears all sit with 1, 2, and 4 losses, respectively. Then you have a cluster of teams with 5 or 6 losses. What is that? 6 teams with 5 or 6 losses. Cowboys, of course, currently lead the NFC East, and they will no matter what happens tonight on Monday Night Football. Yesterday in the NFC South, Cam Newton, who said he was playing the best football of his career, did not play the best game of his career yesterday. Picked off there looking for DJ Moore. Javian Elliott for the Buccaneers brings it back. Buccaneers led at the half 17-7. Second half, it's Cam again, and it's the same result. Another interception. Andrew Adams, who had a couple of pickoffs in this game. Newton threw 4 picks. Buccaneers upset the Panthers 24-17. Another NFC team jockeying for playoff positioning. The Seahawks, a little reunion. Little reunion there. Pete Carroll, Richard Sherman back in his old stomping grounds there, and unfortunately his team got stomped yesterday. Big shot there. Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett, 52 yards on the score, digging for treasure, something like that. Team photo, you know how that goes. How about a statement score of 43-16, the final there in Seattle. So you look at the NFC wildcard race here with the remaining schedules. Seahawks, Panthers, put the Vikings in that mix as well. Seattle finishing off San Francisco there. They're going to have them a second time. Minnesota and San Fran play head-to-head in Week 14. All right, with D.C. right now, you ever go to Panda Express at the mall?
I've been there.
Okay, pick 2 of these teams here.
Okay.
Seattle, the Cowboys, the Redskins, the Vikings, the Panthers, the Eagles all have either 5 or 6 losses. Which 2 of those are going to win the wild card
It's tight.
spots?
When you kind of look at it and then you look at that schedule that you threw up there, I mean, that's where it kind of comes down. The Panthers have to play the Saints twice, in the last couple games. So I think the Seahawks are playing pretty well. And Russell Wilson, you're never really out of a spot there. And they're trending upwards, which is kind of where you want to be going into this late run. They've been playing some pretty good football, some good team football. I really like what I've seen from them. So they're still doing Pete Carroll things. Going to play solid on defense. They're going to play lights out, but they're going to play good enough. And then Russ, he finds a way to keep teams in there, to keep their team in this. So the other team is the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings, when you look at who they've beaten this year, they haven't beaten anyone that's any good, but they haven't really lost anyone, barring a couple hiccups, terribly, right? So they're kind of that team that beats the teams that are okay to not very good, and then they always lose to the teams that are good. So that they're kind of floating in that realm where it all depends on who they're going to play, And so I think they find a way to get in, but I'm concerned about the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, okay, you just described a team that might get to the playoffs, but is not necessarily
that's kind of what I'm feeling.
Do damage in the playoffs.
That's kind of what I'm feeling.
If they haven't beat any good teams yet.
Right.
Since the year 2000, we've had 4 teams that started off as a wild card go on and win the Super Bowl.
They
So
can do it.
don't
It's
just
possible.
laugh if